Let me tell you something about power. Real power, it isn't always loud, doesn't always come wrapped in a fancy suit, and most times, you never see it coming until it's too late to look away. I walked into that high-end Savannah restaurant just as the Friday sun was dipping low, painting everything in golden haze, cobblestone streets catching the last bit of daylight, saxophone playing somewhere nearby, mixing with the soft clink of glasses and the easy laughter of people who know they belong. But me? I didn't come to be seen. I came to see for myself, see if anything in this city had really changed, or if it was still the kind of place that judged you by the shoes on your feet and the color of your skin, no matter how quiet your confidence. So there I was, modest shirt, pressed slacks, shoes shined up just enough, carrying nothing but a leather satchel and the kind of calm that makes folks uncomfortable if they're looking for trouble. I didn't come with an entourage. Didn't need to. Walked right up to the hostess stand where Amanda was posted, her eyes flicking up from a tablet, smile faltering for just a second before she snapped back into that professional veneer. You know, the look a little too smooth, like someone's been practicing for the wrong audience. Her name tag flashed assistant manager, like a badge she couldn't wait to pull out if things got tough. Table for one, I said, steady as stone. No explanation, no apology, just the expectation of respect. Amanda looked me up and down, eyes catching every detail, weighing them against all her private little judgments. Place wasn't crowded, not by a long shot, but she gave that sigh like she was doing me a favor. We're pretty booked tonight, but I think I can find something in the back, she said, leading me past glowing tables and smiling couples, back toward a spot near the restroom corner by janitor's closet, stale wall, and the lingering smell of bleach. Didn't argue, just nodded and sat, folded my napkin with a kind of dignity that doesn't shout. People watch it off course, they did little side glances, a smirk here, a whisper there. It wasn't new, not by a mile. Folks like me, we get used to the edges, the corners, the places nobody else wants. But that night, maybe I was more tired than usual, or maybe just more awake. Amanda handed me the menu with 2 fingers, like she didn't want to get too close. I ordered simple trout, asparagus, herb potatoes, iced tea. No fas, no extras. She let out this little laugh, said, "Living large tonight, huh? You ever get hit with sarcasm so thick you could bottle it?" That was her specialty, said. I shouldn't choke when I saw the tip line. It's funny, people always assume you're trying to prove something when you're really just trying to eat. I sat there tapping my fingers on the table, feeling the stairs melt into the background, noise the world moving on. Nobody bothered but me. When the food finally came, Amanda dropped it like she was throwing a bone to a stray dog. Bon appetit, she said, not even trying to fake a smile. The trout was limp, potatoes clumped, nothing like what I'd seen on the tables out front. It was an insult on a plate. I called her over, low voice, not looking for a fight, just the truth. "Is this how the dish is normally served?" I asked. Amanda gave me that look, the one that says she's got nothing to lose. "For people like you? Sure. We save the fancy touches for real customers." There it was. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't have to. I took a bite, tasted every ounce of her contempt, and set my fork down. She lingered, waiting for me to explode, but I wasn't going to give her that satisfaction. Instead, I got up and headed toward the restroom. She stopped me, right there in front of everyone. "Restrooms for customers only," she snapped, loud enough for the room to hear. I told her I was a customer. She said my $20 tab wasn't enough. I'd have to use the basement restroom service stairs, next to the mop sink. "Company policy," she claimed, "but you and I both know there's no such rule." I stared at her, holding her gaze until she blinked. "Do other guests use the mop sink entrance? Or is that just for people like me?" She rolled her eyes, told me not to pull that card. I didn't argue, just walked back, through stairs that now lingered, some with sympathy, some with discomfort, a couple with barely concealed glee. The basement restroom was everything you'd imagine: cold tile, flickering light, cracked mirror. I washed my hands, dried them on a towel that fell apart in my grip, stared at my reflection. Not anger, not even pain, just this razor-sharp clarity that comes when you realize dignity isn't given, it's claimed. When I came back, my table, me meal, my glass was gone. Just a bare patch of floor, a waitress wiping down what looked like it had never been there at all. I stood there, chest tight, trying to keep my calm. "Where's my table?" I asked. "Someone said you left," she shrugged, barely meeting my eye. Amanda came around, all fake surprise. "Oh, we thought you'd taken off." I told her the truth. She called me entitled, said I was making a scene. But the room had gone quiet now, and every eye was watching us. "You told me to use the basement restroom because I wasn't good enough for the one everyone else uses, and the moment I'm gone, you erase me," I said, voice rising, steady. That's when I reached into my satchel, pulled out a slim black folder, and handed her a piece of paper. "I just want my property treated with respect," I said. She laughed until she looked at the contract. Her face drained of color. I leaned in. "I bought this chain 2 months ago. Tonight, after finalizing the paperwork, I came here as a customer, not as the owner. Now, tell Muid you treat me like garbage, make up policies, then lie to cover it up." Amanda stammered, tried to backpedal, but the damage was done. The restaurant manager came rushing out. I handed him the contract. He looked at Amanda, voice trembling. "Please take off your name tag." She gawked, refused, but he insisted. When she finally unclipped it, her hand shook. She looked for someone to defend her, but the room was silent, judgment hanging heavy, not just from me, but from every person watching. As Amanda stormed out, someone at the bar started clapping. More joined, awkward at first, then real. I didn't soak at UP, I just stood there, holding the folder, steady as ever. This wasn't about revenge. It was about respect, about making sure nobody ever had to sit in that corner and swallow their pride with cold potatoes again. Afterward, the manager pulled up the security footage. For H, there was no arguing, no gray area. The video showed every moment. Amanda blocking my path, her mocking tone, the tossed food, the basement policy. A teenager in the booth had streamed the whole thing on Lynette, went viral in minutes. He owns it, trending by sundown. I came back the next night, same shirt, same seat. This time, the table was clean, the food was hot, the service was respectful. The manager apologized, staff was retrained, not because I was the owner, but because, in his words, you shouldn't have to be for them to treat you like a man. I nodded, not out of pride, but acknowledgement. That's all I ever wanted. Weeks later, they put up a brass plaque in that back corner. Didn't carry my name, just one line. "Every guest deserves dignity without question, without exception." When people asked who wrote it, the staff just pointed at the table, at the memory of a man who sat quietly in the back and changed everything, not with rage, but with resolve. So here's my question. What would you have done? Sitting in that chair, tasting that meal, facing the kind of quiet, cutting disrespect? Would you have walked out? Shouted? Or would you have stood your ground and changed the story for everyone who came after? Let me know in the comments, because justice isn't about shouting. It's about staying, standing, and raising the standard for everyone. If this story hit you, share your thoughts. What does dignity mean to you? And where do we still need it most?